Hello and welcome back to Screenwork Entertainment with another episode of Mushoku Tensei, episode 5. Let's start off with the opening intro of this episode. Man, it was gorgeous, but it was also very sad. You know, seeing Rudius holding hands with someone, but they kind of disappear, kind of disintegrate, like he lost that person, you know. And then we see him walking through, and then we have the music playing in the background. I mean, it looks beautiful, but it also has a very depressing tone to it. You know, there's something about it that really kind of tugged me, tugged my heartstrings there. But I really liked it. I thought maybe I didn't notice it from the previous episodes, or maybe this is the first episode we've seen this, but I don't know, something about that intro was really done well, but also very depressing in my opinion. But let me know what you thought of the opening. Do you feel the same way, or am I over exaggerating? All right, so let's go ahead and get into this episode. I'm gonna just pronounce the horny elf chick's name as Elise, just make it easier. So, anyways, Rudy starts off with Rudy and Elise just joining the university. And we also learn why Elise sleeps with so many men. Because she has a curse. But the novel explains it a little bit better than what the show does. But I was happy, they at least mentioned it in the show. In the novel, they take a wrong turn within a couple of days of traveling to the university, and Elise's health start to rapidly deteriorate. And since Rudy wasn't able to help, she got very, very sick, and this is how Rudy learns of her situation. But anyways, back to the university. We are introduced to the head of the university, Genus. He wants Rudius to have an exhibition match, for his entrance exam, basically to prove that he can cast silent magic and that he is as good as what everyone says, how everyone talks about him. So he goes up against Fitz. I thought this was beautifully done also, although it was slightly, and I do mean very, very slightly different than from the novel. Rudius used, his disturbed magic, and which no one knew about, apparently, besides him and I guess Orsted. And he uses his cannon to take down Fitz. The only difference really is originally Rudy was going to aim for Fitz's head, but last second changes his mind, which is a good thing because if he shoots him in the head, then there's no more Fitz. he would have killed him instantly. His head would have exploded. I thought this scene was really well done, looked gorgeous. We also see how afraid Rudy is of making enemies. So he tells everyone that Fitz, let him win. And, he apologizes in events. He's so afraid that he's going to be making enemies. So honestly, there is quite a bit of a difference in this episode compared to the novels. Whenever we see Rudius get to his class for the first time in the show, he just runs up to Rudius and picks him up. In the novel, it's a lot funnier. He starts running to Rudius and just throwing all the desks in front of him like they're twigs out of the way. It's really funny. And then Rudius freaks out and he hits him in the head with the stone cannon. He put a lot of oomph on that stone cannon, and it doesn't even faze Zomba at all. And that's when he realizes who he is, Now with the two beast girls, Lana and Persona, who are actually from the same beast tribe that they came from before, who saved the children and everything. They're from the same tribe. But there's one thing very interesting about this scene. So after Rudy says how lovely Persona's name is, and she turns away and says, Nuhana. I want to spell this out. She spells Nuhni. Now, I thought this was Japanese, so I Googled it, because what she's supposed to say, what she says in the novel is... So I Googled this thinking that's how you say it in Japanese. But in Japanese is Kuso. So I don't have no idea what this means. I have no idea what that word means. So, but it got me thinking, maybe it's the beast tongue. Maybe she's speaking in the beast tongue. But you would have thought they would have told you what that was in Japanese or English or something. But I have no idea. I'm imagining that's what that means, is F-U-C-K in beast tongue. If you know what that means, let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to know what that means. So also we meet Cliff, which is very differently also, from the novels. So after Rudius learns that Cliff knows him and knows Eris, he asks him, well, what did Eris say about me? And he says to Rudy, well, she said you're small. And this devastates Rudy. Now he thinks that she meant, his member is small, and this more confirms why she left him. And he almost starts crying right there in class. Almost starts crying. And it's really, really heartful. It's really sad. But in the show, we don't get any of that, And as soon as he asks anything, Zumba shows up, and they move on. So it's quite a bit different, to be honest. But nothing, that really takes away from the story. But I feel like some of that should have been into the show. I know they were painting Cliff as like a horrible guy, like a bad character, or kind of an asshole. But trust me, he grows on you, and he turns out to be one of my favorite characters of the show. So I'm excited to see that play out on screen. The only difference I really noticed in the library is mostly, with the book that Fitz gave Rudy, which is about, the labyrinth, and it goes in much more detail in the book, kind of explains it, what happened, about the author and writing it, and all the challenges that came from learning, and how he also almost died from trying to map out this labyrinth. So it's nothing major. It's just, I guess they don't have the time in the show to explain all this. It's kind of a bummer, my opinion. Still, I liked it, but I guess it's not that important to the story. That's why they didn't add it. Now, my favorite scene of this episode is when Rudy is walking and we see something falling down, just like slightly waving, falling down. And Rudy snags it out of the air. It turns out to be a pair of panties. And as soon as he grabs them, bam, like all these girls see him holding a pair of panties, and they're all calling him names, calling him underwear thief, and surrounded him immediately. I thought that was pretty damn funny, how quickly that situation got completely out of hand. And the giant gorilla chick jumps down, starts calling him a pervert and everything. Is really, really funny. But luckily Fitz was there to explain the situation and help in time. In the novel, really the only difference is she's more worried for the girls, for everyone else, because she knows how strong Rudy is, and if he really fought back, they'd all be in trouble. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same. But it was really done well. I thought it was really funny. But yeah, I guess there are a lot of differences this episode between the novel and the anime. Nothing really takes away from the story besides like one big thing here. We don't learn anything with Zomba and the two Beast Folk girls. We don't know why he's so scared of them, but he is scared of them. And it tells you in the novel, there's a chapter pretty much basically all this. He lost a duel to them, and that's why he's kind of do whatever they say. Now, I don't know if we're going to get this later in anime. I honestly don't think we will, because it's already happened. But maybe we will in the coming episodes. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I could keep going about the differences, and this video would be like over 20 minutes long. There's quite a few differences, but nothing major that takes away from the story. Overall, I really do like this adaptation of the season thus far. Even with the changes that were made, still a pretty good copy of the novels. It doesn't really go too far from the source material. And I think, what most people was worrying about before the season even started is the animation being terrible. Now, I think we all know now how the animation looks really good. I think that can put people's minds at rest there. I am not worried about the animation at all. It looks really good, in my opinion. But anyways, let me know what you thought of this episode. I thought it was pretty good. I am a fan. Like I've said 100 times, I am very biased when it comes to this show. So let me know what you thought in the comments of this episode. And if you are a novel reader, what part upset you the most that they did not add to the show? But anyways, I'll be back next week. Peace out.